The left and the right can keep fighting on X and threads, keep screaming about whatever they're screaming about. But there's a very, very dark reality that's starting to become very obvious if you're smart enough to zoom out. This is a very, very dark reality. And it's going to be across the board. It's going to be across the argument to remove people from many, many things is starting to happen. The attacks on artists, entertainers, the idea that they should live up to some standard that was created by 10 psychopaths on Reddit or whatever, wherever this emanates from, these campaigns against these people. The idea that people are going to be obsolete and that you're not going to need them, that you'll actually be happier with something that was generated by Sam Altman. So the dark reality of what's coming is I don't think a political issue. I think it's an issue that has political elements, but I think it's darker and more important. And I think it's about the survival of humanity. It's about the survival of being an autonomous human being that has the freedoms to speak, to travel, to move, to resist some forms of mass surveillance. I believe all of that to be the case. And I believe that you have bad actors on the left, for sure, that are making these protests spill over into violent riots. And some of those bad actors are federal agents.
Yes.
As we know. Some of them aren't. It's a toxic soup of foreign influence and federal agents and whatever. You have bad actors on the right that want to cancel elections and just basically turn this into Russia.
No,
and
China,
the oligarchs
not Russia.
at the top don't care.
They do not
That's
give a
the
shit.
scary thing.
Yes.
They actually don't care. So understand the point of what I've been trying to say here. They actually don't care. Whichever way it seems to be going, they're going to survive. They know they're going to survive. That's the most disturbing thing about it all, is that no matter, they're still at Mar-a-Lago with the dog mask in the showgirls, they're dancing, and they don't care. And they'll go to Kamala's house or Buttigieg's house or Newsom's house. They don't care. Tim Cook will go to Melania's documentary, and then if Kamala Harris gets elected and writes a book, he'll be there too. It doesn't matter. The oligarchs actually don't care who runs this show. Whether it's a autocracy or a fake democracy or a bloated oligarchy, whether it looks, feels, smells, and tastes the way it has, or whether it kind of makes a sharp turn into something else. It doesn't really matter to them. What really matters to them is that they have enough money and political clout to survive. And the ones that don't will flee. So we're in another thing now. You can fight on threads. You can argue on threads. Fight on X. Do anything you want. But we're in another thing now. And you should fully be aware of that. You should fully be aware that the people at the top don't know which way it's going and don't really care. There's factions. There's groups that think it would look better like this. Some think it'll look better like that. But at the end of the day, none of them give a fuck about you. None of them want you to be able to resist the things that they are planning. And their only concern is generational wealth for themselves, power for themselves and their families.
That's true. And I feel that. I feel as though it's the constant pulling up the ladder. It's the constant destroying class mobility, destroying the middle class. They want to create this subservient underclass where they control and rule everything. And we're basically already there, right? We're basically already there. Not completely, because in theory, you can still accrue assets and wealth. The technocracy hasn't been implemented just yet. The dollar still is the dollar. I think There's hope for Bitcoin. I think there's hope for gold, right? So you still can, like, there's still avenues you can take. Ultimately, it feels as though it's pedal to the metal. It's ramping up. We want to pull the ladder up. The elites, the oligarchs, I feel like they want to pull the ladder up completely. They want to shut out any ability, even the ability and the access for a person to be able to have assets, create generational wealth, and get into that 1%. And all the technology and all the stuff that they're coming out with, that's really aiding in that. And a lot of this political shit that we're going through, a lot of the left-right culture war shit, is kabuki theater. People get whipped up with these problems. How many people 25 years ago talked about being transgender or transgender rights? They were used to be called transvestites. Does anybody remember that? I remember it being transvestites. Now we changed the term, and then it becomes so politically charged, and they made it a political issue. And now it's like the thing to talk about. It's the thing to argue about. They're transing our kids. And has that ever happened? Yeah, it's happened. But this becomes the focal point of people's minds, that they start to focus on this and this only. And really, they don't even realize that these people are playing this grand chess game in a lot of ways, and they're watching from afar, and they're poking at the bears of the left and the right to see exactly what's going to happen. And whatever happens, whichever way it sways, they're going to go that way. I agree with them 100%. That's what it feels like is happening, is that a lot of the politics stuff is it's this lower down goy fodder, and the elite oligarchs then watch and they see, hands off. We'll switch teams if we need to. Like Megyn Kelly jumping from NBC or wherever the hell she was at to Fox News, doing her own thing. Now she's like a top conservative commentator talking at TPUSA. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. These people jump around and they don't give a shit. They'll go wherever the wind blows, wherever the power is, whoever's winning. And you're going to lose yourself, you're going to lose your soul, and you're going to lose your life doing their bidding, being an activist, going out there, raising the fist. Oh, yes, trans rights. Okay. What end? What end are you're going to achieve the end? You think they always think it's the utopia when they go out there and they are the activists and they're doing the violence and the end is always exactly how they pictured it in their minds. It's going to be the white picket fence and the trad wife. It's going to be the communist utopia where there's no class and oh yeah, I'm sure that's what it's going to be. I'm sure that's it. I'm sure that's what we're going to get when you go out there and you're an activist. You know, another problem what you're describing is that people are continuously seeking to know what to care about and get upset about from other people rather than asking God that question. Yes. Yeah. The shit that actually matters. But the thing is that people have abandoned God. They've abandoned their compass, their moral compass. The modern Western man is completely a shell of what he used to be. They don't even think that objectivity and these fixed transcendental of these things, goodness, beauty, truth, even reality. What are these things? None of these. Well, I don't even have any understanding of those things. I don't care about those things. And if those things to their minds don't have any objectivity, because if they had objectivity and they actually had to grapple with that, they would have to understand that if they're objective, there's a fixed understanding. There has to be justification for those things in reality. And what is the justification? It's not empiricism. It's not observation. It's something transcendent. It's something beyond. It is God. God fixes these things. Goodness, truth, beauty, unity, right? All these things, the universals, logic even. And you would have to grapple with, well, then if those things are universal and those things are fixed and objective, then there is a correct way. There is a optimal way to be good. And there are virtues. So then I would have to orient my life, but that's too hard. And I wouldn't do that. I don't want to do that. So then it boils down to, we've ripped that away, understanding of objective truth, of objective good. And now it is no longer, we're pointing towards the same thing. It's now just boiled down to power politics. Power. That's it. It's turned into oppressor-oppressee kind of Marxist dialectics. I just need to get power over you, and I'll do it any way, shape, or form. I'll lie, I'll cheat, I'll steal. Who cares? And then once you get in power, you know, it's not like you're going to be magnanimous. It's not like you're going to be very just to the people. It's not like you're going to actually be good and be a just ruler. You're going to do what you want, which is what we're having now, is that our elite are just doing what they want. So even if we swap these people out for the people you want, if they don't have an understanding, these more foundational understanding of truth, goodness, beauty, these things that they're pointing to, that they're trying to strive for, they're just going to fall back into what they want because they have the power and they get to do, might is right. They get to do what they want. The governor, whoever is governing, they need to have these understanding, these objective standards of goodness, truth, beauty, right? They need to have these things in their mind, and they need to be pointing all of their actions and all of what they're doing towards those things. That needs to be the litmus. And are you going to get everything perfectly? Are you going to figure out and do everything perfectly? No, I don't. That's impossible. But that's at least in people's minds, and that's at least what they're orienting most things towards. So in the grand scheme, you start to see, well, this was done wrong, that was done wrong, this was done wrong. But generally, there was an angle of moving society towards that thing, that towards the good. But we don't even have that. Everything is just all in flux everywhere. Nobody knows what to believe. Nobody can discern truth or any of this stuff. And it really just feels like every man for himself, scam or be scammed. That's what so much of America feels like. Scam or be scammed. Well, I scam better than you. So now I have this large institution, this business, this corporation, and I can scam even harder on an industrial level. You're like, oh, man, great. It seems highly unlikely to be godly that everyone is freaking out over all the same issues in the world. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I agree. Two of the things that I'm always thinking about is the degree of importance of an issue and manufacturing of that issue. How actually important is this thing? Because you can go out in the society we have, you could go out and find a percentage of people who are anything. You can go find crazy. I mean, I remember watching videos of people who were in love with their cars. They would kiss their cars, and they would be like in love with the inanimate object. You'd find people who love to eat soap and eat toilet paper, right? Like eating strange things. Like, yeah, you can go find people who do that too. But it's like, what is that? 1%, 0.1% of people? That's what my mom always used to say is like trans people, gay people, they're like 1.1% of the population. They're not even that crazy. But the way that the leftist media and the right wing media talk about it, it's like you would think that they're like 80% of the country is gay and trans. It's like, what? So it's like, there's like degree to how much of a problem something is, and is it manufactured? Whatever that problem is it actually being manufactured by the top down? That's something people need to have ask both these questions whenever they're engaging with a topic. How important is it? What degree of importance does it hold? And is it manufactured? And if you have both of those in mind, you're going to approach shit a lot differently, not off of just gut reaction of, oh my gosh, did you see that? Did you see what they did? Oh my gosh, we got to go out there right now. Dad, grab my gun, right? Oh shit.